In this video, we are going to digitally color a coloring page from Faber Castell. I'm going to show you how to do it in Photoshop. You can do it in any other program that is like Photoshop. The basics are the same, you just have to find the right buttons. I'm Jenny from Jenny's Crayon Collection. I help you guys find the coolest art supplies for whatever project you're doing so you can become the best artist you can be, because anyone can be an artist with the right tools and practice. And today we're practicing digitally coloring. Why would you want to digitally color? There are a couple of reasons. One, you just want to make a pretty picture and you want to post it somewhere, you want to print it out, you don't have any other use for it besides coloring it digitally, and you can make some beautiful artwork with Photoshop. We're going to go over the basics today of how to color a page. And the second reason, which is really cool, let's say you have some Faber Castell pencils or some Crayola pencils and you want to give a test run of what it would look like with those pencils. You can digitally color it first if you know the values for the colored pencils, which I do. And then you can get an idea what it would look like colored. And if you want to change a color, instead of having to do crazy things like whiteout or this or that, you can just change the color with a click of a mouse. What I will recommend that you do when you're doing this though is if you choose a color and you are going to use colored pencils later and it's a test run, is make sure you write those colors down, because if you don't, then you might not know what colors you used and then you might be back to square one. But if you write the colors down as you choose them, then you'll be able to know which color it was that you chose. To start out with, I'm going to have side by side my Polychromos color chart. So you could do this with any color chart, and I have a bunch of these online. And then I'm going to have my page that I want to color right next to it, and I keep those next to each other because this is like my paint palette on one side and this is my color chart on the other. And what you're going to do is you're going to use the paint bucket tool. The paint bucket tool will fill in whatever area is bound. So in this picture, for example, all the areas are bound, but if they're not and you only want a certain area bound, you can close it off with lines. You can use brushes, but that will be another video because that's a little bit more in depth. So today we're just using the paint bucket tool to fill in. And then what you do when you have the paint bucket tool chosen is you're going to go to the color selector, and this is very important. You're going to click on the foreground, not on the background, because the background won't do anything when you're trying to use the paint bucket tool. So you're going to click on the foreground, and then you're going to go over to the paint palette or the color pencil palette over here, and then you're going to pick whichever color you want over on this side. And you can change your mind. You can say, hey, let's try this one, and then try it on the other side. And if it doesn't work, then you can try a different color. You can go back and forth. You can pick all the colors. For this one, I'm going to do a rainbow color, but I want to make sure they look good together. So I'm going to pick them from one side and pick them on the other. I like the way it's looking, so I'm just going to fill in all these lines, and it can be a little, when you're coloring, like sometimes you won't see all the spaces and you're like, oh, I missed one. So I'm going to make sure I fill in all the spaces because they can be easily missed. But the great thing is if you put something in the wrong place, you can easily erase it. So I'm picking my yellow now, and then I'm going to go on to my green. Look how easy that is. How long would that have taken if I was coloring with a coloring pencil? A long time. The next thing I'm going to do is, now that I have my palette of rainbow, to color the rest of the page, I'm going to pick colors from this rainbow so it doesn't get, like it doesn't look bad. So I'm coloring all the stars yellow, but you'll notice right there that as I colored the star yellow, I was like, the one on the actual rainbow looks a little bit too dark. It's too similar. So I imitated what it would look like if I colored light with a color pencil just by changing the value a little bit in Photoshop. It's not going to be an exact science. But now I'm going to color the hearts red, and that red looks super red, so I'm going to put it down a little, and that's what it looked like with the colored pencil. So you can really do some shading when you're with your colored pencil. You could also do that if you were in Photoshop, but that'll be another video. So I'm painting the flowers. I'm using the same technique to do those petals to make the lighter on the inside, just to give them a little bit of depth. And then I'm going to go color the middles, the yellow color. And the next thing that I'm going to color are some of these dots that are laying around that I think are cute. So you can just randomly do whatever color you want these. I could leave them white. You make them all the same color, but I'm going to color them different colors because I want to, but I'm going to use the colors from the rainbow again because I wanted to stay with all in the same color palette. When I color, I like to use like 3 or 4 colors. Unless I'm doing a rainbow palette, then I keep within my rainbow palette because then it makes your drawing look more uniform. So now I'm coming in with those blue, with those dots. Oops, I accidentally got the background. So if that happens, you just undo it super fast and you can, it's super easy. You can also make the background a different color or make the whole horse a different color. Oops, I did not mean to do that. So now I'm going to color some of that orange, and then I have this purple. I'm going to start doing the hair. And on the hair especially, I'm going to do some lighter purple because I really feel like the hair needs that. Otherwise it like all looks the same. It really needs that texture. So I'm just going to bring that over just a tad. I'm going to try again because I didn't like, I'm going to go up instead of down. I don't know which way is the best way if you're imitating a colored pencil, but I just bring it one way. That way, some way that looks good, and hopefully it looks similar to that when I'm coloring with the colored pencil. And that hair, it really just adds that texture when I do those 2 different colors that are coming in here. And you could change these up. It's so easy because of that. And I'm going to go over here and I think just fill in some of these spots that I miss. It's hard to tell with the hair what to color and not. So now I'm going to come over here and I've decided I don't like the green I have. So I'm changing all the green. And look at that, how easy it was. I wanted to use leaf green instead of the one that I had used originally. And then I think I want to change the orange. And so it's to orange glaze, and it's super easy to do that. This is the basics of how to color in Photoshop. I could just print it out, or I could use it as a template for my colored pencils, which I'm going to do next. Now I'm ready to color this for reals. I have all my pencils picked out, and it was super easy because I already did it in Photoshop. I have it printed out so I kind of know what it looks like. And I think this was a really fun way of just getting ready for coloring. I could actually just print this picture out and put it up. I think it's pretty enough, but I'm going to color it with colored pencils. Let me know if there's anything else you want to do in Photoshop. I'm going to do some of these Photoshop tutorials because there's a lot of ways that you can digitally do art, and I want to bring that into my channel too. So you guys will know how to both do artwork on paper and digital art because I feel like it's coming together a lot. Would you guys do digital art yet? Or are you mostly on paper and pencil? What do you guys do? Let me know. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.